Here's how to import footage from the shared drive into iMovie. Step 1, you need to click Finder, and you're going to need to create a folder on your computer, on the actual laptop, where you're going to store all of the video files that you're working with. So on your computer, go to Documents. It's important you don't save files on the desktop, because if you have a lot of files on the desktop, it'll slow down your computer. You need to click Documents, and then for each project or assignment you do, you need to create an individual folder for that project or assignment. So for this example, I'm going to click here and say New Folder, and I'm going to call it Shot Types. So now that I've got my folder created, I'm going to click File, New Finder window, and I'm going to import or download the files from the shared drive into the folder I just created. So I'm going to access the shared network, click on Video Broadcasting for the current semester, and find the folder that I made for the shots that I need to download. So here's the video files I'm downloading for this example, and I just drag them from one window to the other one, and it'll start moving the files. So what this is doing is putting the files on this computer. So they're not on the network drive. Well, they're still on the network drive, but now there's a copy being made that's put on this specific computer. So when you're using the computer and you start editing, it's very important that you use the same computer every time, because if you try to use a different computer, you won't be able to access those files. They're just specifically on your computer that you're using. So now that we have that set up and the files downloaded, we can close that window. The next step is open iMovie. When you open iMovie, you might get a welcome screen. If you do, just click OK, thank you, goodbye. If it asks if you want to install updates, just say install updates later, until you get to this screen. If it's the second time that you've used iMovie and you've already imported things or worked on other projects, you might have a different screen and all of these areas will be full of other things. If you're just starting out, you can click Import Media. Otherwise, if you want to start fresh and work on something else, click File, Import Media. It takes you to the same place. You'll get this screen and you can tell the computer what you want to import into iMovie. So you need to locate the files that you just downloaded. The way you do that is find the folder on the left that says your first name dot last name, and then find Documents, where you saved your folder, where you created your folder, and then find the folder that you made or whatever project you're working on, and inside that folder should be the files that you downloaded onto your computer. So select all of the appropriate files, and then before you put imports, you say Import Selected. Before you click this button, you need to do one more thing. You need to tell it where the files are going to be saved to, or where you want to import it to. iMovie has something called events. It's basically like a bin or a folder where all of the project files are stored for that event or project. They call it an event. So you need to make a separate one for each event. If you don't, it's going to default and import to the same event every time. And then when you're trying to work on a project, you're going to keep seeing all of the video files that you've worked on throughout the whole semester. You don't want to see all of that, so you need to make a new event each time you start a new assignment or project with iMovie. So I'm going to say New Event and call it the same thing that you named your folder. So I'm going to call it Shot Types, and now I have my event made, and that's where it's going to import the files to, is to the Shot Types event. Now I can click Import Selected, and it will import those files into the appropriate event. So you can see the event right here that we have selected is Shot Types, and there's my footage.